Hey Russell.
Mitch, how's it going?
Good to meet you.
Good luck.
Yeah, you too.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Hi Mitch.
Hi Steve.
Hi Russell.
Steve.
Oh, welcome to Canon Australia's headquarters here in Sydney. Hope you're excited. You're the two lucky contestants who are going to participate in the inaugural 24-hour Canon Collective Challenge.
All the best.
Luck. Yeah,
No
see you
worries.
tomorrow. So we're heading up the Central Coast. There's a few spots that I want to check out. There's some nice inlets and some jetties and piers.
So we just arrived at Coogee Beach. I've never been here before. So that's part of the challenge, I think, is to challenge yourself with new locations. So we've had a bit of a look here and it's not really doing it for me. I'm really looking for a swimming pool that's got the lane lines painted down the middle. I think we'll just keep looking and go from there.
So we're at a spot called Squid Ink Jetty. Might see how we go doing maybe some long exposures.
So this is the sort of thing that I had in my mind, where we've got a swimming pool, you can see the lanes, hopefully the water's still, we get nice reflection. And then if we can get a lone swimmer as well, that'll be the icing on the cake.
So I'm attempting to stack 2 solid neutral density filters, try and increase the amount of time I can have the shutter open for. On the drive up, I was thinking mainly about how to tell the story of the next 24 hours and the scenes that I'm going to be shooting, and how to convey that in 4 shots. That can be a bit of a challenge sometimes, particularly with landscape photography.
So we're heading south to have a look. There's a couple of other rock pools down on the coast here. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this location.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Cloverleaf. For the
I think considering you want the
just the
rocks
nature
and all
of that's
of
what I
that.
wanted. Yep, this is looking not too bad. So we're heading off to Malabar. We'll check out the pool there. It's a similar sort of setup. Not loving this place. I like Marn Pool better.
So we've worked out that Marn Pool is probably the best location for all the
exactly.
things that you're looking at. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I want to try and show the solitary swimmer, but I think that'll be nicer for a sunrise down there. Could look pretty cool.
Still a little while before the sun sets, so just gonna probably test out a few compositions handheld just to see what they look like, and then as the sun starts to set or starts to go down, I'll probably set up the tripod and maybe do some long exposures as the sun sets. I just captured the seascape here, but instead of just having it as the natural scene, I put myself in the frame, give a bit of more of a human element to the shot. I think I will put myself in some more frames and see if it gives me the kind of story that I'm hoping to achieve.
Where I want to shoot, there's too many people in shot, because I want to do another multiple exposure and overlay our swimmer into this pool, and it's 7 o'clock at night, so we'll just hang about.
I think I want to get on the edge of that rock there, but leave the camera up here. This one will be interesting. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's good. I think we should tactically retreat.
All had about 3.5 hours sleep. Thought we'd come back to the Marn Pool, got an idea what we're doing with the double exposures.
I've selected my 4 images, or I've at least got in my head what I think those 4 images are going to be. I like this, where the story is kind of leading to.
Hitting the road back to Canon headquarters. I've got some shots I'm fairly happy with. It's a matter of going back to process them.
Should it be consistent white border all the way around, or top and bottom?
I like that one. That one there looks a bit dark.
Happy with what I'm done. I'm just stressing out now because this printer's taking a little while.
Okay, time's up.
Good luck.
Concluded the 24-hour challenge. Quick, Mitch, get that picture up quickly.
All right. Okay.
Interesting.
First set of images.
That's not what I was expecting.
No. At first I thought, is it the same shot? And then I looked straight for the water. I said, it has to be.
Oh,
you never
yeah.
get the same.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The same shape. Looks like a set of lungs. There's definitely different.
Yeah,
different things going on
There's
here.
different layers, with one core photo passing through them. I think it's very bold.
Yeah.
If I was to be honest, I was really not expecting this, and I think as a first instance, I'm happy with that.
Yep. Yep.
The storytelling is very abstract,
Yeah.
which I like. It means you need to engage with it a little bit more.
Sure.
Do you know, at first, the first
Yeah.
thing that came to me
Yep.
was effort, reward, and obstacle. That it's a progression of training.
Rough seas, and then things are getting a bit calmer, or maybe it's the other way around, like you said. Where does this start and where does it end? Maybe
Yeah.
it is the beginning to the end. I'm not really much of a swimmer, not a lap swimmer, but there's a lot of repetition
Yeah.
in that, isn't there?
Yeah,
It's,
there is. Oh, that's
hardcore
interesting.
training. So, you know,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a repetition of image.
I like that.
And a stroke.
Yeah, even if it's not what the story's meant to be, I love it.
Yeah.
Do you think the colours make it an optimistic message?
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, those sort of colours and that light is in a depressive look.
They were given a period a day
Yep.
to take as many photos as they want, and in principle, only one photo was used to tell the story.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's 4 layers to it,
Yeah.
but there's one photo that's been used to tell the
Yeah.
story.
Yep.
That in itself, I think, is incredibly bold.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should compare.
This is good. I think we should see round 2.
I'm a little bit baffled by them.
Yeah?
In a good way.
Okay.
There's a symmetry to them, except for one.
Yeah.
Is that a deliberate thing?
True.
There's a real sense of perspective and defining where your eye should go in 3 of the pictures. In trying to work out what the story is, with the purpose of 4 pictures being able to tell a story, it kind of extends my thinking outside of where it would be if there was just 3 pictures in it. So if you take that picture away,
Yeah.
it feels like it's clearer for me what I think that story is about.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. As a looking at those 3 on the right.
But maybe what the photographer is telling us in that respect is that the composition makes no difference. That I'm looking at a detail that actually doesn't mean anything to him.
Yep. Maybe reading
It's purely-
something
yeah.
into it that's not there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's purely a compositional detail, as opposed to a storytelling detail.
Yeah.
There's actually there's a couple of interesting technical questions about this.
Oh, yeah?
So at first I was thinking to myself, oh, it's a double exposure. That's the first thing that came into my head. Then I thought to myself, oh no, wait a second. It could be a timed exposure
Yes.
that goes for a long period of time. Obviously, you've got elements in that allow that to happen, whether it's the sky and a couple of them, or the water and others.
Yep.
And you allow the light to flood on you as a self-portrait, which is what's been done.
Yep.
And then you walk away with enough time that you become ghostly. And that all rings true, except for one photo,
Yeah.
the bird one. Because
Okay.
the bird one is the only thing that had the possibility of an inordinate object that could move.
That's true. Yet
And they didn't move, which gives away that it's a digital process.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because I started going through all these as a photographer before I started enjoying the photos. I started going through all these technical questions in my head, and I think that's quite a good sign.
Yeah.
You know, that there's a bit of technique in it.
Absolutely. And if you had to guess what the story is, what's going on here, what would you?
For this one, I feel like it's more of a environmental, observational, how I impact my environment, what my role is in that environment.
Yeah.
That's what I'd take away from that.
The choice of this ghostly effect, like what's the meaning there? Is there a sort of a deeper meaning to that?
So the first thing that came into my head about that was the footprint that you would leave on your environment.
Yeah.
That you're there, but you're not always going to be there. That's the feeling that I get from that technique that he's employed.
Yeah. Yep. It's a fleeting moment.
Yeah.
Almost like a memory.
Yeah.
It's a bit sort of nostalgic, or it's not lasting. It's sort of ephemeral. Yeah.
Can I just say also technically, moving away from the storytelling, which is a really beautiful range in the way the photos have been captured. There's an exposure there that's very difficult to capture, I think, to get the correct exposure and to get that amount of detail.
Yes.
In the highlights, in the shadows of that particular picture. It's a high contrast situation. It's beautifully taken. And I'm absolutely in love, but I always love that really milky, soft, overcast light.
Yeah.
But it's beautifully done. It's not too desaturated, it's not overly saturated, it doesn't feel fake, it feels...
It's a nice...
It feels like you want to be there in all these places, and I think that's really beautifully done.
We've got some decisions to make. I think both photographers have done really well in the day, so to sit down now and really nut out what our choice will be.
Hey guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Great photos. If you give us the story in a paragraph, what would it be?
The loneliness, the monotony of long distance swimming, training up and down. The monotony, that's why I put 4 photos the same, but with different backgrounds. So.
No, that's great. I think, look, it's a beautiful image.
Abram picked up on something on this. I'm not too sure if you picked up on that's very interesting. Do you notice anything in the water?
Right in the heart of the swimmer, you've got these holes that look like a set of lungs. This is quite interesting.
It does too.
Yeah, which is like the breathing of swimming is sort of like it's all about controlling your breath.
Yeah.
And it's more than just it really looks like lungs, which is quite cool.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And at first, what was nice about it was we thought, hang on, well, look, this is 4 prints of the same photo. Yeah. And only once we started inspecting it, we realised, hang on, what was going on here, the backgrounds, and that was nice. It wasn't an obvious communication.
And what I love about that is it causes you to engage. You have to be a part of the process. It's not there for you to see. You need to engage with it. And having the 4 pictures virtually the same in the same stroke is a great way of, I think, illustrating and communicating that concept of monotony. So I think it was very cleverly communicated through a picture.
Great. So we'll go on to the next set of images. Would you like to tell us what was going on through this set?
I've always been drawn to the coast in terms of it's almost a meditation. It's kind of therapeutic being by the ocean, and so these are places I've never shot before, but I've got a family connection from holidaying there as a young kid, so it's almost like reminiscing on some old memories but creating some new memories as well at the same time, having a human element there but not quite there to demonstrate that, almost like a ghostly figure.
No, it's very interesting. So I'll tell you what I loved about the pictures. I actually think technically they're really beautiful. I love the mood of the jetty that's deconstructed. It's gorgeous to look at. I think you captured optimism and good days and bad days quite beautifully, and you were lucky you were given that from a weather perspective over the last couple of days. And you utilised that variation and aided in the communication of your story. I think that was really beautiful. The technicality of it's great, and actually we were having massive discussions about the technicality of it. Was it done in post? Was it a long exposure? Was it a multiple exposure? So that's really good. Leaving photographers with those questions is actually a good sign.
It's so interesting, you know, seeing the set of images today. You know, there was no communication about where you were going. You had a choice of anywhere within 300 kilometre radius of Sydney. You both chose the ocean. And what was also striking to George and I was the fact that both have an element of 2 images coming together, where there's double exposure and long exposure. That's quite, you know, serendipitous. we're happy that both of us picked up what you've just explained is the sort of story behind the images is sort of what we took out of them. Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, well, we've gotten down to it. I might let George do the honours.
Okay, so we decided on this occasion that the award will go to Mitch. Congratulations, buddy.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, Russell. Cheers.
But Russell, seriously, it was an incredible set of pictures that you put forward, and it was very close. Mitch, congratulations. It was really a great set of images, very beautiful to look at. And you guys both really communicated the story very well.
Thanks very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Congratulations.
Blown away. I actually can't believe it. Telling a story through 4 images is very challenging, but it's also very rewarding, and just changing my thinking about traditional landscape photography. It's just been a phenomenal 24 hours.